So for those that don't know me, I've been kind of involved with UKEF for a little while. And last year, indeed, I went to this event, which was at the House of Lords. And it was amazing. We had 3 baronesses sitting at the table, a Labour, a Liberal, and a Conservative baronesses, all MPs. And there were some amazing stories, some very impassioned stories, extraordinary stories that I just couldn't believe were actually true. And we saw people, you know, like Justine and Caroline, who have these projects that they're doing from the ground upwards. We also had NGOs that were in the room. We had, you know, government organisations in the room. There were all of this kind of stuff went on. And at the end, one lady said, asked the panel, so what can we do? We know that domestic violence rates are rising. We don't know whether it's just because it's becoming more acceptable and people are talking about it. But we do know that whatever's happening is that we're not on top of this. So what can we do? And the only thing that one of the MPs said was, you need to lobby your MP. That was the only option she gave to those people that were in the room that day. So I came home, and the other thing that I also heard as a bit of a theme going through was that there was lots of things that were going on, a huge amount of work, stuff that you do, Chris, all sorts of things that were going on, and people I'm sure that are doing in this room, but there was no integrated or holistic approach. And I'm a holistic health coach, so this kind of got me a little bit rocking and rolling. Now, I don't have anything written on the back of my t-shirt. It's like Chris, you know, you showed me up there. But what it did do was I went home. Do you ever have this moment when something happens and it goes over your mind, you can't sleep? Do you ever And I woke up really early in the morning and I thought, well, you know, is this a talking shop? You know, we went to that event and it was fantastic, but is anything really going to change? And maybe not, let's hope so, but is there anything that I could do to help? And I'm really good at bossing people about. You know, my family doesn't really matter who it is. But that means that I'm quite good at organising events. So I thought, well, I wrote a proposal and I sent it to Margaret and Robin, and I said, how about we have a conference? And this isn't about showcasing these extraordinary stories. This is about getting the people that are providing the solutions already into the room and looking at best practice. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about getting people into the room and saying what is working, what is not working, and how can we make this process easy for women so that when they are victims of domestic violence, and I'm pretty much talking about this country, I'm not talking about things that are going on in Africa and Nigeria, but in this country, how can we create a model from the existing best practices so that we can present this to the people that are funding, so we can go to government and say, okay, if you're really concerned about these levels going up, then not only can we present you with the solutions that are happening already and the interventions that are happening already, but actually this is kind of how much it's going to cost. So raise your hand if you think that's a good idea.
Very good idea. I'm one with you.
So for reasons that were personal, I couldn't act on this particular conference idea after that, but my circumstances have changed now. And so I mentioned it to a couple of people who are in this room. And they immediately said, for their own reasons, and I am going to introduce them to you, that they would want to be in support. And I'm in here today to also ask you if you are, or if you know anybody that would be in support of such an event. Now, I know that there are events going on that are run by NGOs or organisations already that are a bit kind of in-house. But what I wanted to do was to spread this out so that we can have a bottom-up approach. And at the moment, there's a working title. You get that with films, don't you? There's a working title. So I've kind of just come up with it as a trust conference. Because one of the things that is very obvious, and from talking to one of my friends here, is that in order for a woman to get help, one of the major things that she needs to do is to be able to trust those people that are delivering those interventions. So in my little world, the trust, so the T stands for trauma. So the first thing is understanding the effects and having the awareness and making women and men and families and children aware of the effects of domestic violence in the household and what that looks like, so that we can, that trauma at the moment is keeping that woman in that unsafe place because of all the things that we've already talked about. Caroline talked about it, the guilt, the stigma, you know, we talked about stigma, the shame of it and the fear of it. So that's where perhaps we could start. Then we go on to reaching out, and somebody referred to this as well. It's really difficult for a woman in this situation to reach out. Reaching out is a basic need of a child. If you can imagine when a child starts to walk, what does it do? It reaches out to you. It reaches out to you to be cuddled. It reaches out to you for food. It reaches out. And a child that is traumatised and that has attachment issues doesn't reach out. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So the next part of it is reaching out, but reaching out and doing it in such a way that there is urgent resources and relief available. Because when that woman reaches out, she needs to trust and be confident that whoever she goes to is going to be there for her and that she can trust them. Does that make sense? The next thing is understanding. So really looking at each person as an individual, a bespoke and holistic approach. And this is my thing. You know, knowing that, okay, so we've got a human rights lawyer, for example, who last time said, well, I know what I do. But if this woman comes to me and she says, well, I don't know where to get food for my children, I don't know where to get accommodation, I don't know, because that's not my speciality. But we do know that there are huge amounts of organisations and private individuals on the ground that are actually providing this support. So how can we make it easy for these women who are suffering with domestic violence to find that support? So support is indeed the next way, so providing a pathway, looking at best practices, bringing in those people, and we'll be inviting people in, we'll be inviting people to submit their papers and solutions, and then we will choose one of those solutions across the board. This is what we're thinking, it is just a working title at the moment, and bringing those people in that are already, and it's not only about the NGOs and about those big charities, but small organisations like Lonely, for example, who are doing such great work. And finally, transformation, because that's where we want to be. We want to have these women experience transformation. To start, this is just the start on the road of their recovery. We want to be able to empower them. And we also spoke about this, is about breaking the cycle, which is what you were talking about. Is breaking the cycle for the sons and the daughters in those broken families, in those households where they are witnessing that domestic violence, and how can we provide help and support and education so that we help women to move and heal themselves so that they can heal this for future generations.
Thank you.
If you think that you would like to help us in some way, if you just want to register your interest, then please send an email to Margaret or to myself with trust. Just put trust on it, and then it will get forwarded to me.